Welcome everyone, this is Polly Needles and you're listening to Lotro Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in Lotro and here at Lotro Players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin,
Hi!
Guarendis,
Hello, everyone.
and Calabathian.
Sup, everybody?
And this week we have some interesting news, I guess is the best way of putting it. And that is because Daybreak Games has been acquired by EG7. And I must admit that before this week I'd never heard of EG7, but apparently
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not the only one, Pine.
yes, all right. Yes. Yes, EG7 Global has acquired Daybreak Games. And of course they have the usual things. We are looking forward to our future with our alliance with EG7 and all of that stuff. And Cordovan and Severlin made a prediction that this is unlikely to have any significant impact on the production of The Lord of the Rings Online. Then EG7 made a presentation of their report, and I have a feeling that the people at Stone Games are looking at each other and says, oh my. And they were, I think, as surprised as we were about all this information being released. So, yes. So EG7 is apparently now owns Daybreak Games, and as a result, they are now the publication end for the Lord of the Rings Online. And they are a public company who makes information a lot more public, let's say, than the people at Standing Stone Games are, because since they're trying to get people to invest in their stocks, they're of course trying to talk about numbers and the like. Those things that Standing Stone Games has been avoiding all these years of talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Daybreak Games EG7 just went out and revealed all that information.
You want numbers? Here's a bunch of numbers.
Here are a bunch of numbers, yes.
Wait, hold up. No, they get all the numbers.
Apparently that's the case. So they, in their report, were talking about the introduction to Daybreak Games, talking about that, and as such, they're also talking about the relationship with Standing Stone Games and what that is all about. And in there, they've got some new numbers. I still don't completely understand what all these numbers mean. But apparently it comes down to how many people are VIP and how many people have accounts is what makes it sound like. Though I'm sure that someone who knows more about this stuff than I do might be able to, because it's mostly in management ease up in there, which I don't talk all that very well.
Yeah.
But in any case, it looks like these numbers are out with what they call bookings and things like that. And maybe someday I could get an exact idea of what it all means, yes. But yes, some information that has some people wondering, especially the people at Standing Stone Games who probably were a bit surprised about hearing it let out. Another interesting thing that came out on this is they were talking about potential technical upgrades to the Lord of the Rings Online for PC and next-gen consoles to capitalize on Amazon's highly publicized large investment for their LOTR TV series.
Yeah, it's interesting because back when they were Turbine Warner Brothers, they were looking into doing a console port and ended up throwing out that idea.
Yes, apparently it has just gotten reintroduced. Now, I don't know if this is some bullet target that they have put in, because it says robust growth opportunities, which might not be construed as an announcement as much as this is something that they're looking to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
and despite the fact that Drax says you can click the image and make it bigger, you can't actually.
Yeah, you can't. Drac failed to put in those little links in there.
So I can't zoom in on the thing to actually read the text. But I was kind of surprised that this is the same people who have DC Universe. I've played DC Universe. It's not bad.
I'm wondering if anybody here watched Severland's chat a week or so ago. Because I thought at the time that question was thrown out there and that he was kind of like, there's an awful lot of work that would need to be done, not in the foreseeable future. I kind of swore I remembered this conversation.
No,
I really think the opportunity
they talk about it a lot
is
because yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think I don't know that they're necessarily going to have a console port because again, they've explored this idea in the past because Warner Brothers was really pushing for it back when it was Turbine. Because I looked into it a little bit on like forum posts and stuff, and they ended up dropping it just because it. I mean, they would need to do probably a lot of back end changes, like more significant back end changes that they've done already, in order to even make a console port viable.
They're having enough trouble with the Mac
for it. I mean, they don't have the people for it. One, because their focus is on story, not let's get this out to as many people as possible. So
that is unless, of course, the people at EG7 are going to be sending a team in order to do a console port, because that's the only way it's ever going to happen, really.
Well, and I don't know that it would necessarily even be the same game because one of the threads on the forums, one of the older threads on the forums back when they were talking about console ports back in the beginning, was like, how do you manage to get all of those skills for those of us that have like 3 bars of skills, hunters?
Oh yes, because
to work with a controller. But I don't know. I'm sure there probably are people who play it on PC and manage to do it with a controller. So kudos to those people. But
there are a couple of people that
keyboard.
do it.
Just as long as you don't take away my keyboard compatibility, I don't care.
Yes.
If you force me to use a mouse or controller, I'm going to get very snippy.
Yeah.
I like my key mashing.
Well, I have a simple mouse. I don't even try to do the programmable ones, all the buttons, because the last thing I could do would be like a console port of it. I know what hotkey I need to push on my main bar.
There you go.
Where I need to click if I need to click above for other things that I have lined up. Please don't take my keyboard away. I'm like Terry.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing on that.
Key Mashers RS unite.
You are my keyboard, my lovely keyboard. You make me happy when I go raid. You'll never know how much I love you.
I mean, I have said on numerous occasions that I know the skills well enough to be able to play the game almost without. Well, and I have in the past played the game with the UI turned off. In fact, I've done it on the burglar. I kind of need it for the champion because you got to be able to track the fervor build, and for the hunter you got to track the focus stuff. So you kind of need to know when those skills are lit up. But you know what? For the burglar, you get enough cues in auto, and there's that little thing that pops up over your head that lets you know when your skill is ready to go. So yeah, I play the burglar all the time with the UI turned off. It's kind of fun. You have no idea where your health is at. You have no idea where the enemy's health is at. Aren't you almost dead yet? Makes navigation a challenge because you don't have the radar.
Goblin going, die! And you're going, yes, please! Would you?
Yes! Die! No, and I can't imagine. There's no way to do that if you make me click on things on the screen because there's no things on the screen to click on.
Very well. I suspect that the people over at EG7 are going to have an uphill climb if they seriously want this to get on the console. And it sounds like everybody else agrees on that.
By the way,
Yeah.
I was thinking about earlier how you said it was like management ease.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff and like the bookings and stuff like that. And I wanted to actually ask, which is more understandable for you, Dwarvish or management ease?
That's a good question.
Or
I could
are we talking
probably-
about Dwarvish being management ease? That's why
Well-
people don't understand it.
I mean, if I could get the images to open so I could actually read the management ease, I probably could understand it.
Yes. It doesn't help me that our site apparently has WordPress has changed how you enter into there, and I don't want to risk going into opening it up at the moment.
Because as far as I'm concerned, some of the levels that we have in the new area that are Dwarvish is like, Azkaban, and I'm like, I've seen this word before, but it wasn't in, it wasn't in Lord of the Rings.
It though, because there's an extra Z in there.
I know, but you look at it and it's like, that looks awfully familiar,
But
and then
it's
you
not.
realize it.
Well, no wonder I failed to mention
Frodo and the Order of the Order of the Eagles.
Have you not played that
come on,
game in World Chat?
It's the Order of the Mathams. Come on.
Order of
No.
the Bed.
The weird things that you have in your bag, like the bag of petals or something. You put Harry Potter and you link the weird thing in your bag, and the
Dirty
bag
filth.
of petals. Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything else to say concerning this little acquisition and the wishful thinking by the people at EG7?
Well, I will say that Drax's article on the website does kind of explain things like what bookings are and EBITDA and all this kind of stuff.
Yes, but
so he at least tries to explain
he
some
tries
of the
he tries to
corporate
explain
speak.
it. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
Pine's eyes glaze over.
Yes, my eyes glaze over it there. I am one of those engineers who can't make any sort of transition on to the management side.
Booking.com, booking.yeah.
Pineleaf will not be assimilated.
Let's then head into some Update 28.2 information that was provided by Cordman, and that is that next week will be Update 28.2, and this is going to include the work on PVMP that has recently been tested. It will include everything they need for the Yuletide Festival, which would be starting on the day after, because right now I believe Wednesday is patch, Thursday is going to be the start of the Yuletide Festival. And it's also going to be setting up for Tier 5 of the Stairs Battle, which is going to be starting on Thursday, December 10th. And additionally, they're looking for a number of changes that will support the debut of Gondor on the Legendary Worlds on Honor and Ithil. And that's going to happen for the Legendary Worlds thing is on the 16th, December 16th, so that'll be in 2 weeks after this update. Then we'll have Honor and Gondor.
No, it's a
Gondor.
week after the update.
Yeah.
What? It's a week after.
It's a week after the update.
Oh, yes, a week after the update. That's right. It was 2 weeks after I read the article. That's right. A week after the update. Yes. And
I'm just really looking forward to the inclusion of the update to PvMP.
I'm sure that
We're gonna have to go
anyone
test it.
I'm sure that anyone who plays monsters in PvP is looking forward to that little update.
We'll have to go Warden next week. We'll have to go Warden it. Warg it.
Yes.
Warg it good.
Yes. And as for
I will say that I was delighted by the transparency of these announcements.
okay.
Is this like something new because of the change of ownership, or just thought it was very interesting. I liked it.
I think it's well, I have a feeling it's because they didn't have the patch notes ready and they wanted to get it because people have been complaining about the Legendary World announcement not being made or anything like that, so they wanted to get that as soon as possible. But the patch notes weren't ready, so I think that's the reason why we had this little thing. Though I don't know if the EG7 thing had anything to do with this or not.
I actually wonder if some of this has to do with Severland's chat that he had.
That's my thought too.
Because a lot of that takeaway was, hey, we want more info.
Right.
Like, and he explained that they were waiting for like formatting things, and like, we don't care about the formatting. We just want the info. We don't care how you get it to us. Just get it to us.
Well, that's
so
formatting. We don't care what it looks like. We just want it. We just want the information.
Like, it doesn't have to be pretty. Just put it out there.
Well, they get worried about things like localization also and stuff like that. So now there is one thing that is waiting for formatting, and apparently they are writing up the guide for the race change tokens, and it sounds like to me they think they've got everything ready so that they could have it ready for the store. I think they're just doing final testings and trying to get the information up and localized. And apparently I think that early next week there is a holiday in some places in Europe that's going to...
I think there's a bank holiday. It's like Monday.
Yeah, a bank holiday. Yes, a bank holiday in some places in Europe. So that means that the translation is going to take a few days in order to get done because it has to wait till after the bank holiday, and then they actually have to do the translations, get that all localized. And when that's done, and assuming that they don't suddenly find another bug, it could be we can see those tokens soon.
Nice.
Could you imagine if the game worlds, all of the vaults and stuff had a bank holiday? It's like, why is nobody here? NPCs are just gone.
Yes, they're just gone.
Would riot.
Yes, we have decided to take St. Nicholas Day off.
Well, you know what? That's totally fine because we get town services. And we can just call them to us. I don't care if you're on holiday. Come here.
Like, this is the Middle Earth equivalent of mobile banking.
Yeah, I guess it is Middle Earth equivalent of mobile banking.
It's like that's an apple. No, it's not.
Yes. Right.
It's an apple.
Yes. All right. Yuletide. All right. Now, Yuletide Festival starts December 10th, and it'll be ending on all the way through January 4th, which means closing early on January 5th. So it'll be actually at a more reasonable time frame than the Harvest Math Festival was this year. Tier 5, as we said before, it's going to be becoming available on December 10th at noon. And the lead to charge ahead of the curve deeds for the titles will be available for both instances through January 20th and turning off at January 21st, 3 a.m. Eastern in there. So that is both for the Stair of Battle and the Bloody Threshold Tier 5. And as I said before, Legendary Worlds with the level cap increase to 100 on December 16th, opening access to regions of Western Gondor, Central Gondor, Eastern Gondor, and Old Anorian. The content includes the Paths of the Dead, Gondor of Flame, Ashes of Osgiliath, and the Siege of Minas Tirith. Whee! And now,
Right up through
Okay.
those epic battles, guys.
oh, fun.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Yay.
The leading the charge and ahead of the curve deeds, they're only temporary.
Oh, because they're saying that you finished the tier. You're one of the first people to finish the tier, so they only have it available to earn during a short period of time.
Oh,
You
okay.
can keep the title once you earn it, but the tricky thing is earning it in time.
Yeah, I'm just like, I was looking at that going, hold up, my collector heart is just, suddenly going.
No.
Yeah, just wave goodbye because we don't do rating.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to like devote a bunch of your time to getting geared up to do raiding and dive head first and smash your face against the raid like a bunch of times.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Now the people.
I remember we were discussing at one point how hunters could just smash their faces against the keyboard and like roll them, and everything would die. So I have a hunter.
No. If you're gonna have any hope,
doesn't work like that in raids.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm gonna like if he can get geared up, maybe I can just.
If you want to have a hope of getting this title, you are going to have to be tier 4 ready pretty quickly.
When tier 5
because you got to have tier 4 gear in order to be able to do the tier 5s most likely. Yes.
Yeah.
And I suspect you don't have tier 1 yet.
No. What's that supposed to mean?
Your hunter's not at cap is what that means.
Oh, that little detail too.
Whoopsie.
A minor detail. Yes.
No, I was just like, what do you mean you suspect that I can't do it? What? No, I get it.
Yes, I mean, you're on the show that you being a top end raider.
Hey, we've had people on the show who do rating.
Okay, you got a point there.
I was about to say, if it's that, I'm gonna leave.
Not top end rating, but most of us have participated in group content aside from the Pine Leaf level.
All right, then let's head into our Beacon issue 184, where we are still looking at. I would presume that's a location in the Elder Slate. It's hard. It's rather dark imaged in there, so I can't be too sure on there. So let's head into our community spotlight.
Is that the Angmar village that we haven't been to yet?
Most likely.
That is that village.
Oh,
yeah.
It was very, very quick. I was like, that architecture looks awfully familiar.
Yeah, it looks very Angmar. Actually, it looks a lot like not Carndum, but that other village on the western side of Angmar. But the background is very definitely Elder Slade because it's Misty Mountains up there.
Yeah.
So this has got to be that place outside of Gundabad that we haven't been to yet.
Right. Yeah, because we got these various Angmar village. Well, we were there in an instant quickly, but we didn't have time for sightseeing then. Let's head into the community spotlight. Vanimar presents the 12th Grand Elven Ball this Saturday. Well, actually, it was... Actually, no. Oh, no. This... Yeah, it's this Saturday, so that means it was today.
It's this Saturday. It's over with.
All right. Then registrations end this weekend for Winterstock 8. Unless you're listening live, you're probably going to miss out on that. Or on the signups at least. And Winterfest takes place over 3 long days starting December 11th on Crick Hollow. So that is next week.
Next weekend, guys, for Winterfest.
Whee!
It's a big deal on Crick Hollow.
3 days.
And you will need to be able to visit that in person because there's been a bit of a moratorium on streaming concerts on the official because of worries about copyright strikes. So,
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
You might find somebody streaming it, but it won't be on the official channel.
nope. And good luck. Because evidently, Twitch has been really, really hitting people. Anywho.
So that's what's coming in there for where we have the Winterfest coming up next weekend. Then into the Kin Hall, Casual Raiders is a 4-year-old rank 10 social and raiding kinship on Brandywine. The group does daily and weekly raiding during European-friendly times and has their own Discord server. You can check out their Discord for more information. If you would like to select someone for the Kin Hall, you could send an email to contact@sunnystonegames.com. And now, for our weekly comment. When you buy items from a vendor in Lotro, does your character get a receipt?
I saw this comment and I had to giggle. It depends on what the character is selling and who the character is. Like, I have this sense that Sarissa probably gets a receipt for everything that she sells. Like, just in case she wants proof later of what happened to it. And on the other hand, Terry only gets receipts for those items that can be bought back later. Like, it's the reverse of the return psychology. So you can buy it back as long as you have the receipt that you sold it in the first place. So, like, up to the first, 17 or so, however many that the vendor actually keeps track of for you to buy back. That's how many you get the receipt for. Stuff like that. Those are the thoughts that went through my head when I saw that question.
Yeah, it's quite a number of things. Yes. Anyone else know whether or not they get receipts?
Morkendeer, no.
Morkendeer.
Morkendeer's probably trying to steal the items.
Yes.
Morkendeer would basically be like, "Sure, give me the receipt," and then while he's giving the receipt, probably like pick someone's pocket. I mean, he's pretty hardcore about that.
Well, he's getting the receipt so that he can like swipe the money back out of the merchant's pouch.
Yeah. Celevorn actually, I think he's more of the kind like, it depends on what it is, but as an elf, he'd basically, if somebody came back and was like, no, you can't buy this back, or we won't buy this back, or, proof that you bought it. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm an elf. You think I'm cheating you?
I just can't stop thinking about 30 copper for 50 dirty filth. Like, I can actually picture the merchants in the game writing out those receipts. That's really hilarious.
Well,
but yeah,
it sounds like
I don't think they are.
It sounds like to me though you're asking for receipts for when you sell stuff instead of when you buy stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, because
or her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you, Calabathian.
Well, I said, wait, me or her? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, that doesn't help me.
No, I think he actually was talking to you.
Selling, just because I think most of my characters would want proof of sale. That way, if it came down to it and there was, there was something going on, it's like, they tried to shortchange you for something. It's like, it said that I got this much and I'm counting out what I have and you shortchanged me. I think that would be more of their thing. They would be more, this is what I bought for this much, and the fact that I don't have it, that does not please me. I mean, but
now I'm picturing Celevorn going up to this merchant in one area going, okay, you gave me 50 silver for these 40 copper dirty filth over here, but that guy over there gave me 60, so now I need the 10 more that guy gave me from you. And that kind of bargaining stuff.
Yeah, there's some bargaining.
I work in retail.
If not Celeborn, definitely either Hystia or Glompla. I'm just saying.
Oh, Glompla would totally be haggling all over the place
Oh
and
yeah.
getting receipts for everything so that she can go back and say, okay, why did you only give me this much on this day, but then you gave me this much on this day for the same thing?
Yeah.
Because she would be the nitpicky one.
Hmm.
Well, it's fluctuating prices.
I love
That happens in the real world, right?
Somebody on the forums, like, no, in fact, most times when I sell a bunch of items, the vendor conveniently forgets about half the things I sold them. Shady bunch.
It also totally depends on the attitude of the person I'm selling it to, because there are some of those vendors that are like, "What do you want?" You know, and it's like, I want you to change your attitude."
And I lost that, so whatever that was. Sorry.
Oh, I basically said it depended on the attitude of the vendors when they were pretty much like, what do you need or what do you want, like, or
Why are
talking
you
down to you.
bothering me?
Why are you bothering me? It's like,
Vendors should never say that. Why are you bothering me? That should never be a vendor clip. And it is frequently, but it never should be.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just picturing Terry over this pile of 187 cracked lances going, no, I don't really need a receipt for that. You can keep them. It's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. It sounds like Mixer stopped working.
What?
Nazgul attacked audio.
Oh no, I lost the audio for like 10. Yeah, and it's just now catching up to Mixler.
Oh, okay.
Although it is saying that Mixler's not responding, so yay.
Yeah, I have a private message on Discord saying all audio just cut off.
Yep,
Cut off.
and now it's telling me that I lost my internet connection in Mixler and it's reconnecting.
Okay. Well, then.
Good thing we have a backup recording.
Yes. Good thing we've got a backup. That's what they're for. Now for the fansite news. The holiday Yule calendar is now underway. Find fun things every day in the blog, and there is still time to submit your screenshots. Also, Lotro Players News, that means us. Last week we had a bit of a dilemma with Valars.
And conveniently, Sans isn't here, so...
Yes.
I have inside information, but I'm saying nothing. We will wait until she returns for the report.
Very well. Lotro Stream is your first stop to find Lotro on Twitch. This week, Glenn and Ori celebrate St. Andrew's Day. Michael DK2 runs on Evernight, and Balviel battles for victory. Also on Twitch, Kevin4191 runs T5 for the first time, Bloodborne Deeds, and the Dwarf Scholar declares Gunabad or bust. And overall,
we still need to get the Dwarf Scholar on the game, or on the game.
Yeah, he's got early morning stuff going on tomorrow, so he wasn't able to join us this evening.
There's a bit of a time difference there too.
Yeah, kind of a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Minor detail there. And over on YouTube, The Lost Traveler quests for Daffodil. Konevek Greenleaf gets to the Scuttledells, and Renfail goes on a lore master's journey. And for our screenshot of the week, Digma and his 5 sons do handstands on top of the Colossus in Ivendim in this week's screenshot of the week. Send in your screenshot by emailing lotro@steinstonegames.com.
I want to know if they ended up there because of drinking from the keg. Anyway.
There was some kind of drinking going on.
Well, if it were from it's unlikely to be from the keg, simply because the keg isn't going to send 5 people to the same place, 6 people to the same place, likely.
Well, at least one of them is a mini, so no, probably not. And it looks like one is a warden, but is any of them a captain? That's the question.
Hard to say.
Which one has the tightest pants?
My guess, yes. My guess is that's most likely just someone who would have to be on the quest in Avendim. but that's my guess. And that is the beacon for this week. So let's then head back to our store sales. And Terry, what's on sale this week?
Well, Yuletide savings begin this week, so week 1 gets you 35% off Minas Morgul in the Lotro market, which is awesome.
I got
50%
mine.
off Premium Wallet, and 75% off the Aerador bundle if you still haven't picked up all of that stuff, despite the fact that everything was like free through the end of August. So shame on you. And then our weekly coupon gets you a Universal Power Potion ×5 with coupon code POWER5. There's a coupon that I will never use because when those drop for me out of Hobbit Presents, I delete them because I don't need power potions. And I especially don't need 5 different types of power potions filling up my bags.
One type for those emergencies?
5 different types of unstackable power potions. Come on, guys. Just give us one and be done with it. Yeah, so I get rid of everything that drops. If it's a power potion that drops from a Hobbit present, I get rid of it because I have crafted power potions if I absolutely need to use a power potion, and those are the potions I never use. But Terry also has the champion thing out of Blue Line where you can actually get power. So in the very rare event that she runs out of power, which is never going to happen on a Red Line champion, because when your fervor is up, you gain power per second or whatever the metric is. The only she loses power like every once in a while. She'd get knocked out by those guys in Minas Morgul that would steal your power.
Right.
But she was the fastest to recover from everybody because the fervor's up and power comes back really fast for Red Line champions.
Okay.
Yellow Line too, I think, has the same kind of thing. And as for the actual sale, 20% off select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, and select cloaks now through December 10th. And as with every time we have cosmetics on sale, I say double check and make sure that you cannot get the cloak anywhere else before buying it out of the store.
They have property writs on sale now after I buy my house.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yep.
They go by when you buy a house and then they put them on sale, right?
That's a lot like when you wash your car and then it rains the next day.
Well, you should check the weather before you wash your car if you're going to be worried about that.
It doesn't matter. I can wash my car and suddenly it will change and the next day it will rain.
You might have a really good career with that.
Let's head into our weekend Lotro. Calabathian, what were you up to?
Oh, Lord. Well, last Saturday after the podcast, we ran the rejects through the Fire Wing in Fornost as birthday gifts with K-Cats. And Glompla playing her Pibgorn while in a box is really hilarious because it's like going through the box, but there's like barely any room in between like the hat and the top of the box. You can just barely even see like a sliver of her head. And it's even worse than the dwarfs, but it's really hilarious all the same. But we did that kind of as a birthday celebration type thing for one of our members. So it was very amusing. My Arkenstone Calabathian in the academy got their fem and won the Clucath by defeating a Vare and another dude. I cannot remember his name. Like Drugoth? Not Drugoth, but
I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, it's the other dude that doesn't matter. But so what could possibly go wrong there? I mean, and I took Mork up to the Elder Slades to start missions, and his reaction to meeting Ozma, you little idiot dwarf, would be his reaction.
Maria Ozma.
Because because I mean, it started out. First of all, it started out, that you talk to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm a stout axe, and we were in Mordor, and we did this," and then she just like suddenly whips out her knife and puts, it's up against your throat, and it's like, you know, and first of all, my little inner Morkendir was like, "Do you know how dead you would be if I had any kind of freedom at this time?" And then the secondary part of that was, how could you even reach my throat? You're a dwarf and I'm 6'6". You would have to jump. I mean, and then the third reaction came when she was like, "Well, I know it's not you must think it's not the most like honorable method of fighting." And my inner Morkendir was like, "No, I'm good with it. It's I'm fine. This is normal." But she was all, I know this has been mentioned before. I think it was Terry that mentioned it, but you have to sneak. And so he's like in total stealth, creeping. And what is Ozma doing? She's running up like, and like, attacking everything. And I'm like, really?
What part of sneak do you not understand? I thought you were sneaky.
Okay, Scoutmaster. So, he would be like, running up and stabbing things and helping her kill it. And then, he'd go back into stealth. And then by the time he got back into stealth, she had already run over here to attack the next thing. And I'm... That would be where his, you little idiot dwarf kind of came through. Yeah.
Wait till she pulls out the explosives.
We need to sneak. Boom. Real sneaky, Ozma. Real sneaky. They'll never know you're here.
No, I don't actually recall there needing to be any sneakiness in that particular mission.
We just need to stay off the road.
But yeah. So that was what I did this week, because kind of thin, but I basically had stuff I was doing. But yeah. And of course no more Kadir chapter, because I had a bunch of stuff that I was doing. I'm gonna have to try to get ahead.
Yeah. I think the reason for that whole big thing about sneaking is because that is one of the missions that has the reinforcements thing into it. So the idea is to keep them from getting I think they're subtly trying to teach you about twists, and this twist is the reinforcement. I have a feeling that's the reason why they had that ridiculous thing about sneaking.
Yeah, well, then they shouldn't have had a group of 4 things come at you, then, should they?
True.
Like,
and here's the thing, though.
4 things.
Here's the thing, though. There may have been reinforcements, but Ozma's running ahead and like not sneaking, and I'm like, where are the reinforcements that everyone's supposed to be calling?
Oh, that's because if you're killing them before the reinforcements come. Yeah.
Yeah, if you kill them while they're still summoning reinforcements, then there's not summoning reinforcements.
Yeah, I was just say, it's not you that gets the reinforcements, it's them.
No, I mean, I'm serious though. I'm like, dude, I'm killing these things, but our side is running up like roar and not sneaking, and they're not calling reinforcements. And I'm like,
this is because you probably do the same thing that many Lotro players do, and that is when you see that red activation thing below the feet of the opponent, you hit.
I never saw that.
Oh, well, what do you know what I'm talking about?
What do you mean red activation thing?
The induction circle.
The induction circle.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah. What do you do when you see the induction circle?
Interrupt.
You interrupt them, right? So because you're interrupting them, you never see the reinforcements.
Or you just kill it faster.
Or you kill it faster. Either way works.
The only thing I do is, I sneak up on them and start stabbing them from behind or something. I mean, this is Morkadir we're talking about.
Yeah, true.
You come up behind them like that, and they die pretty quick.
Well, be happy that usually when you're on a mission, if it's not the storyline missions, you don't have to worry about being with another person. You don't have an NPC with you.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that was my first time doing a mission, and I was just like, I figured I would take, I would actually take Morkendir through the missions, because then I could get embers, and I could get enough embers to get the shoe emote. I had an ulterior motive, but
Okay,
Yeah.
that's Figments of Splendor, not
Yeah.
Embers or Motes,
Figments. I'm sorry, Figments.
which you don't actually get from missions, but you can convert Motes to Embers or Motes to Figments. Yeah, he kind of really needs that emote.
Yeah, but he does need the shoe emote. I mean, he's got some other emotes too, but he needs the shoe emote. So I figured I wanted to go try the missions anyway, so I would run them through there. Do the first one at least and open them just in case anybody was like, "Hey, let's run missions," and I could be like, "Here comes Monkey Deer." But he's only like 30 something, 32, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's not like he's gonna be in any like really let's fight on the stairs. He's not up to that point. But yeah, Gorindus, how about you? How was your week?
Well, I too participated in Firewing and Fornost with flammable finery. Very memorable birthday celebration. I was very concerned because it is Firewing and everybody else had boxes on.
With ribbons.
With ribbons, and yeah, I mean, I tried to light a few birthday cakes with my fire breath emote. I'm not sure if it worked or not. I think it just melted the candles. Yeah, it was a lot of fun running though, and I guess Shadow Wing is it? That'll be the last one.
Yeah, Shadow is the last one.
Well, we'll see. You were worried. You were like, oh, Firewing's hard, and it's like, well, it wasn't too bad. So we'll see what happens when we get a group together.
Firewing's not hard. Firewing can be dicey at that one boss fight in the middle that we handled with no trouble whatsoever.
Yay!
I was actually very impressed by how well we did.
We know how to play. Gorindus became Slade Runner this week. Geez, that is a lot of missions.
Is that all 100?
That's Mountain of Missions, like what, part 10?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, that's 200 missions.
200.
I did have a lot of fun on Gorindus running roving threats in Evendim and Forakel with my kin this past Thursday for Deep Night. Although the great big white giant thing did wipe everybody that was close by. It was me, and the only person that was actually kind of close to being on level was a level 106 dwarf hunter, and we were the only two that were left standing to finish blazing him down before he got to us. Because there's I guess some reflect that's really bad if you're a melee class. I haven't tried to do roving threats yet on a melee class. I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to it, but it was a lot of fun. Other than that, the Hobbit Hunter and her companion have become little wonders and Fisher Kings and Arqueens and finished up the Gloom Glens, and we now have milestones in Lanark and are going to continue questing out of there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Hobbit Hunter is definitely wearing the Little Wonder title. She had Fisher Queen on and then went, oh no, Little Wonder, got to do that. So Terry Edwin, what did you do this week?
Well, Terry Edwin has also been doing lots of missions. She reached the Faberall rank with the Gabel Aka and discovered the newest unpronounceable dwarf reptile. Like, seriously. Why?
Azkaban.
Why? What?
Azkaban.
It's not Azkaban. There's an extra Z in it. It's like a bunch of consonants all thrown together with a couple of A's.
It's
What?
Welsh.
Why?
It's Welsh.
No, I don't think it's Welsh.
It's not Welsh.
No, but I mean, if you're going to say it's just consonants with like an occasional vowel in it, that's Welsh.
No,
So,
it's consonants with occasional A in it. No, Welsh is consonants with the occasional W. which in Welsh is not a consonant, it's a vowel. Yeah, no, this is a bunch of, there's a couple Z's and a GH and some A's on either end, and I don't even know. I have extended an invitation to Dwaro scholars to join us on the show and discuss it. Unfortunately, he's busy this weekend, so he can't talk about it. But yeah, we're gonna have to make some kind of arrangement so that we can have this conversation, because I have questions about why. And since we haven't been able to get any Lotro people on the show, we're just gonna reach out to the guy who knows dwarfs. that's my solution to this problem. Carryalls were acquired on Anor, and I dithered whether or not I was going to Valor anybody over there, and decided instead of Valoring anybody over there, I would Valor my, because I said in an offhanded flipping comment, I suggested to somebody that they should Valor a champion. So I Valored a champion. I Valored Well-Dressed Killing Machine, who is now level 120. I got him the good Valor, because if I'm going to spring for a 75% off Valor, I'm going to spring for the good one. And actually, the weapons, I wasn't super impressed with the imbued weapons that I got when I Valored my Guardian, but actually when I did the Valor for Well-Dressed, I got some decent weapons. Imbued weapons, actually. There's still that bug that the first of those weapons that you open up and equip doesn't actually show its legacies until you log out and log back in. It's weird. And then he had stopped by, of course he's not actually doing anything level appropriate. He's still stuck in the epic story in volume 1. But I had stopped in at Bree to get the VIP stuff, and random player who was at the fountain sent me a tell saying nice uniform. So I thought that was fantastic. He got a compliment. So I sent back a thank you, and I said, well, one must live up to one's name. I mean, he is named Well-Dressed Killing Machine, and he does live up to the name of Well-Dressed Killing Machine. So that was great. And it's not in here as a highlight, but I'm going to use it as a chance, because Killabathian and Guarandus have both talked about Firewing. I actually led the way through Firewing with that group, and I was very surprised because like I mentioned with Guare, that middle boss fight in the courtyard, I have seen it go really, really badly with a number of other groups, and we had no trouble with it whatsoever, and I was like super impressed with actually how well we did for that one. The only really hairy spot that we got into was we got into the tower, and there was a room off to the side that had the torch, and I said this way, and Sans said, sure, 1 second, and then she went and aggroed everything else in the tower. So while I was trying to fight the couple of mobs in the room with the torch, and I had the minstrel and the roomkeeper, who are our heals, with me, trying to keep me alive, and I was like, you know what, go heal the Guardian, I'm good, I've got this, I'm fine. So we almost lost our little stout axe Guardian for overzealousness again. But yeah, otherwise we did really well. I'm actually still not looking forward to Shadow with that group, just because I hate shadowing. It really sucks. But we actually probably have a better shot of completing it than with most every other group I've done it with, just because of how well we've done on all of the other ones prior to that. But I'm not going to get my hopes up because I know better. I have learned my lesson. The game has taught me not to get my hopes up, because that's when they turn around and mess with you. Actually, my official third highlight this week is that I actually got to play Lotro with Mom early in the week, because her work schedule and my work schedule have not been compatible at all for the last however many months. But she had Tuesday off, I had Tuesday off, and I said, we're going to play Lotro on Tuesday. So, of course, any of the characters that have played with her previously are no longer anywhere near her level. So I dug out my manly man Captain of Rohan to run with her dwarf. And I said, you know what? Let's run skirmishes. I had taken her through the tutorial, and she wasn't like super impressed with how that. And we hadn't really done skirmishes since then. And I said, well, let's do skirmishes. So I taught her how to skirmish mostly responsibly. We had a little bit of a hiccup. We got to the courtyard in Tuckborough, and we had a priest of vengeance earlier in the instance, but he didn't have tons of allies, so we were able to get through that without anybody dying. And the courtyard, I was trying to tell her to stop attacking the guy who had the shield on him, and it didn't quite work, and she died. And then I told her don't retreat, and she didn't listen to me, and she retreated. So after I finished killing everything, I had to, because I was on a captain. I can bring you back to life. Just give me a second. But she didn't understand what I was telling her. So, well, she's like, I can just follow the arrow. I said, no, you can't follow the arrow because this gate still isn't open. I have to go all the way around. So I had to go all the way around and come get her so that we could get out of the instance. But aside from that, so we did Tuckborough, we did Attack at Dawn, and we did Thievery Mischief, which went surprisingly better than Tuckborough did. We had a Brood Queen in that one, and I forgot that Brood Queens can even spawn in that instance. She's like, oh my. I said, yeah, I forgot that could be a thing, but... And as I was running back to go get her, I explained why she had died. I said, yeah, that guy was called a priest of vengeance, and he puts a shield, that spinning thing that you saw on the guy you were attacking, and he reflects back the damage that you were doing, so in effect you killed yourself. And she said that made sense. But yeah, because one of the purchases that I made on Black Friday, the holiday weekend of Black Friday-ish, was a spare cord for my laptop, so my laptop is now easier to port up and downstairs because I don't have to dig out the power cord every time I want to move the thing. I can just pick it up and take it. So yeah, that was my week. How about you, Pine Leaf?
I'll begin with my main warden on Crick Hollow, who reached the maximum rep tier for missions that is completely unpronounceable. And I completed the War of the Three Peaks quest, meaning all that stuff there's this phase. There are two phases in there: the time where you're preparing for the war, and then the quest during the war itself. So I finished up the during the war quests. So that's all finally done. That means I think I've got all the quests done, except for there is this one quest that I never did quite finish up in the tower at Kavitsar, which is way at the top, where the last time I attempted it, I didn't realize that the mob you're looking for only appears after you interact with something. So because I never got that, I still have that one to do. I don't know if I'm going to bother doing it or not, because Kavitsar is really annoying to go into unless you're with other people. Now, as for my low-level warden, I finally started to gain levels again. This is one that I capped at level 20, and I decided that I was going to stay capped at level 20 on that character until I got Slade Runner. So because I got Slade Runner last week, I said, alright, it's time to start leveling again, and I've reached level 27 on that character. Then on Friday night fight, we ran the Battle in the Tower, Protectors of Thongohad, and Assault on the Ringraid's Lair. And probably the weirdest thing that happened on there is that our tank in Protectors of Thongohad had trouble understanding that you need to get the boss under the catapults.
You don't need to. I mean, you can kill him without it.
Well, you could kill him without it, but he was up to a point where he had 22 buffs on him, so that it
was okay.
So that he could one-shot just about anyone by that time. So we were quite happy when he finally got close enough to one of the boulders so that we knocked him back down to 0 buffs. Oh boy. Nothing worse than a plus 50% stack. So that means I guess was doing 1,000% damage by the time it got all the way up there. So it was really bashing us on the head. But anyway, we eventually did get that done. I think one of the engineers got by and destroyed two of the catapults after it was done. But I think by that time we had already won the skirmish. So that took care of Friday night fights. Now let's head into our news beyond Lotro, where Darren Loremaster has his Paths of the Dead wallpaper version 2. And this is where he has the Paths of the Dead showing on a wallpaper, along with a sonnet about the Paths of the Dead. And in other Lord of the Rings news, The J.R.R. Tolkien house is up for sale. Now, it's not a hobbit house, but it is a house where a lot of hobbits were thought up and born into writings. The house is located at 20 Northmere Road in Oxford, England, and is where he wrote The Hobbit and a significant portion of The Lord of the Rings. And now the house in question is on the market, and there's a high-profile effort underway to turn it into a cultural center dedicated to the late author's life and work.
I've also, yeah, the high profile, is that the cast of the like the original movies? I had heard that they're trying to band together and actually get the money up to like make sure that it's not like to buy it or something like that. Which I don't, yeah.
Yeah, it says
I don't
here,
know.
actors who formerly portrayed Tolkien's characters are lending their voices to the Project Northmere cause. Sir Ian McKellen, who donned the pointed hat of Gandalf, appeared in a video in support of the cause. Additionally, John Rhys Davis, who played Gimli, lent his voice instead of his axe. Even actors Derek Jacobi and songstress Annie Lennox made an appearance. Now, Derek Jacobi, what I most remember him relating to Tolkien's work is that he did the reading of the audio version of Farmer Giles of Ham. And their goal is to raise at least $5 million to purchase the house. More money would mean that the house could additionally be restored, such as the garden that Tolkien had loved so much to honor his memory. And you can donate to the project to help preserve J.R.R. Tolkien's home, and there's a link to where you could go and donate for that. And that is it for our news tonight. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to join this illustrious array of players and help support Lotro players, you can go to the Nature's page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. And if you wish to support us without joining Patreon, you could contact Drac at lotroplayers.com. We did not receive any emails this week. If you'd like to send one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter. Players Alliance at Players Alliance, Lotro Players at Lotro Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda at Senswinda, Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, and Calabathian at Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time via DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time via Lotro Players News. You can join us for our shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pilot Mules reminding you to skirmish responsibly.